What's going to be? How's it hanging? How's it happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, sponsored by Dark Fusion Systems, the best in your custom computing needs, whether you need it for a gaming PC, streaming, music, creative, business, whatever you need. Dark Fusion Systems will build the perfect PC for you. Get $100 off your whole build using the code CPPOD at darkfusionsystems.com. Links to the podcast below. Now let's go to our feature presentation. AVRALIZE from Germany is on the podcast. Their brand new album called Freaks out on March 22nd, and we show you how experimental this band is, how intricate this band is, and how incredible this band is. If you like deathcore, metalcore, high energy stuff, and love to see what a band can do with all the experimentation in the world, this band does it for you every step of the way. You guys ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. If we go back to the episode we did with the German metalcore band Defocus, at the end of the episode when I asked for some suggestions, this was one of the bands they said you have to go check out, you have to go listen to. I smiled because I said they're going to be on the podcast at some point. And they've got a brand new album called Freaks coming out on March 22nd. And if you like highly produced deathcore, highly produced metalcore, and have a lot of craziness behind there as well, with a lot of experimentation, and you're like, I just want to feel something like crazy, this is going to be the album you want to check out, a band you want to check out. Trust me, I loved it, so we're going to dive deep into it. So please welcome Severin and Bastian from the band AVRALIZE to the podcast. So gentlemen, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you guys for being on. It is an absolute pleasure. And like I said, when I got a chance to interview you guys, I'm like, okay, let's listen to the album real quickly. Let's see what's going on there. This was wild. This was manic. This was crazy. This was experimental. I don't know what else to put it. You guys put a whole bunch of energy into this thing. So I want to kick off right then and there. When it came to making this album, when it came to making your sound, like, how do you guys do this?
I don't know. We just experiment a bunch and then something crazy comes out and we're not afraid of new things. I would say that.
Yeah, definitely. I think also when we write songs, we always think so much about arrangement and sound design and stuff. Maybe, yeah.
Like most of the time sound design, like really most of the time. Yeah.
Well, just given the style that you guys work with and how many different pieces, how many different production pieces you put in your music, sound design and overall composition have to be at the forefront. Otherwise, if they're not, you're going to end up creating stuff that's going to have a lot of craziness and a lot of manicness to it, which is something I absolutely love because I want to be in the pit hitting people as much as possible listening to something like this. But overall, if you're going to just throw a bunch of stuff in there and you're not going to have that composition and design really focusing on understood, it could sound really messy. It could sound like the mixture is not there. And going from one part to the next, especially when you're trying to tell a story through your music, it could really come across in a different light than you wanted to. But that was not the case on Freaks. Every single song, the sound design, the construction of it, you guys put a lot into this, but it all flowed together the way that you really need it to flow together for these songs to stand out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I think our first song was Freaks, and the arrangement in Freaks is kind of, I wouldn't say messy, but really there's a lot going on part-wise. And as we went on writing more music and more songs, we kind of learned a lot about arrangement and taking the listener on a ride and not throwing him random stuff.
Yeah. With Freaks, we were like, oh damn, we need a double drop D breakdown, and then we just put the breakdown there, and we're like, and it was like, oh, we have to do this. And yeah, it was like Basti said, it was our first song. We didn't have a plan of anything. We were just like, yeah, let's do this. No. And overall, the album was like this journey of like learning and understanding what we actually want. Yeah, and we're very proud to present Freaks. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Well, especially when you really dive deep into it too, how else are you going to learn about what your sound wants to be and how to experiment with this stuff if you don't try it and give it a shot? If you try and just plan everything out so specifically, nothing's ever going to work out because you're not open to new things happening. You're not open to the song taking on a new light. So like listening to Freaks, I can tell there's a little bit of a difference there, especially on that song than compared to other songs, especially at the beginning of the album, like Lotus and Higher. But you still listen to Freaks and I can see there's so much experimentation still going on in there with these different styles from different bands that I was picking up. Like going through there, I'm picking up stuff from I Prevail. I'm picking up stuff from Avatar, Ice Nine Kills, Korn, Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, Motionless in White, all these different aspects with this electronicness, like a little bit of electronic tap consistently throughout the whole entire thing to make it honestly feel like, I don't know if you guys are playing on this, but Freak sounds like you're at a freak show at a carnival. Like the overall vibe of it has that feeling behind it. I don't know if that was planned, but titling that song Freaks, I'm like, this works out perfectly. And with all those like pieces of influence in there, I'm like, this works out even better than you probably thought it would.
Oh yeah. We were way too hyped when we wrote Freaks, I think. It was also because we made music since we were 10 together. And then 2 years ago we started AVRALIZE and we're like, okay, let's try it for real now. Let's get serious with music and try to get the best out of it that we can. And we were so hyped, and that's what Freaks is.
And it was also the first time when we worked with Manuel Renner, our producer from the Überlärm studios. And it was like so crazy writing Freaks and actually hearing it with like this fat sound and always everything was like so polished and just sounding so great. And we were like, what are we doing here? What the fuck? It's just too great. And then it was like a very nice experience just doing this like really overthought songwriting with Manuel Renner together with like this big sound. And it was a very nice experience.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like it would be a nice experience, especially when you have a producer that's going to be able to put a lot more of those electronic elements and really make them pop in the overall mix so that it sounds like it's that bombastic feel that you need it to, or it just has that nice little like layer of a veil over the top of the song to just give it a little bit of this consistency so that when you're going from one part to the next with how crazy you guys can transition from one piece to the next, it still has this overall congruency and connectiveness to make sense. Because I've heard plenty of bands where they want to go manic, they want to go crazy. But if you're going to be shifting from over here to over here, then throwing all the way to the left and throwing me into the wall and then bringing me back down and there's no real flow or pattern to it, it gets pretty hard to follow. But when you have a production and a producer that's able to continue to allow that flow to happen and really help you out with that, that's where a lot of this manicness can really turn into something spectacular and have that energy of a story going forward stay consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Yeah.
The funny thing is also this screaming, singing thing that Severin does in almost every chorus almost came out naturally in Freaks.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he did this and we said, cool, let's do that. And then it happened in every song, and that's like his signature move, I think.
Yeah, that's my signature move, I would say.
I just thought about that right now because we never talked about that, and I was like, holy shit, that just came out of nowhere. He just did this.
And one funny thing also, like producing Freaks, we weren't aware that there is so much stuff in the background in a production like that. We were like, damn, there's the shaker and stuff like that. And we weren't thinking of it, but it just fits so good. And we're so thankful to like having been able to work with Manuel Renner because he was like the door opener for us in this world, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He taught us so much about songwriting and layering stuff, and it's insane. It's insane where this is going. Yeah.
I was just about to ask, when it comes to, you guys said you've been working on music and have been writing stuff together since you were like 10 years old, but over the past 2 years now you finally decided to get real serious with it, really give it the full go that it absolutely deserves. So when you were writing music beforehand, just not as seriously with AVRALIZE and just really kind of just throwing ideas together, figuring out where you wanted to go with this, it had to be a lot different than working, on Freaks and having that professional influence there in terms of a producer. So what did you learn overall when it came to this writing experience, from writing in more of this, we're going to try and see if this works, to now we're serious about this and we want to make this work out for a full-time thing?
That's a tough question. So I would say the one thing we've learned is like that size of the studio doesn't matter. We were like before AVRALIZE, we were like in this big studio with like the
drum room was bigger than the studio itself.
Yeah, it was so crazy. It had a very nice live room and a very nice room with a big mixing console and stuff like that. And after that, we were like at Manuel Renner's studio. It's very small, I would say, but the sound really packs a punch. So it doesn't come out to like size or just like looks. It was just like a don't judge the book by its cover moment. Yeah. And we were stunned. Like we were there and we were like speechless.
Also maybe what we learned is that when we started, Philip and I, we only listened to deathcore at the time, and we're like, we need to do everything and show all our skills. And the point is that the hard thing is not making hard things or complex things sick. It's to make simple things not boring. I think that's the hardest thing about writing music, because you don't want to overwhelm the listener with too much stuff at the same time. And then making simple things sick or nice is like the hardest thing, in my opinion.
But then also the stuff that has the most or the hardest impact, I would say, like simple riffs, just like to headbanging and stuff like that. It speaks for itself, I would say.
But not making it too generic. It's so hard.
It's like the balance. You have to find the balance.
Yeah.
So kind of just taking a look at both of those. First off, Sever, what you said around the size of the studio doesn't matter. The amount of bands I've had on the podcast, the amount of artists I've talked to, there's a lot of people that's like, you still want to work in those big studios. You always are going to like look up to that and say, hey, that's an idea I want to go after. That's something I want to achieve. But at the same time, it's never about the size studio. It's all about the person that you're working alongside as your producer, because you can work alongside the people that have the biggest studios, people that have the most equipment. But if your producer, one, is not up to par with what you guys want to have happen on your music, and secondly, is not fully immersed in understanding what the story is, where the idea of the music is, and where you're going with it, then you're not going to get the best product overall. I've seen guys go in with some super small studios, just do some incredible things with that, because the producer and the band are all connected together on this. So they're kind of in each other's heads. They're in each other's minds. They can read each other and they know exactly where they're going. It's when you have that chemistry going back and forth, it makes sense. But then Bastian, what you said around it's not about making complex things it's not about making complex things like huge, but making those simple things not boring. It's kind of the same concept of, sometimes less is more. If you're able to take something that's simpler and just really turn it on a different side and make it as popular as you possibly can, or as big as you possibly can, then you have a lot to work off of. And it can be having all these different complexities around it to really just amplify the simplicity of a certain part. I think about progressive music, like progressive rock, progressive metal, where you have all these different intricacies and the musicianship is top notch. But again, why is that sound not as popular as the difficulty of the music? It's because sometimes those simple things just pop and they hit so many different people in so many different ways. The complexity of it, some people just really don't get behind because they're not able to fully immerse themselves into that style or into that experience, versus a simpler thing that's not boring. Everyone's able to jump into that and really feel it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Okay, but we need to say at the same time, there's some really complex hard stuff going on.
Oh, absolutely.
Like in Overdose, the verse after the first chorus. Oh, damn.
Like in Lotus, after the first chorus, in Lotus, that's a unison blast and it's around 300 BPM. It's like 259 or something. I never thought I would play it that fast.
Yeah, you guys don't hold up on that either. When it hits, it just goes.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Holy shit. And also the thing Philip does in the verse from Higher, like this thumping, picking, unprocessed Bolivia thing, it's insane. I think that's also something that we love to do, just doing stuff that's not typically in metalcore or in this genre. Yeah.
It's like the whole the whole idea behind AVRALIZE. We were like, damn, we want to have heavy guitars, like very deep tuned and crushing drums and everything, but we don't want like to play that metal music. We want to play like our music. And I yeah, at first I was like, no, we don't play metal, we play modern heavy music because I was like so thrown off by the word metal. I don't know. It was just like, yeah, we want to make our own thing and just push boundaries. Yeah.
Severin started listening to metal by the age of 16.
Yeah,
He
like
listened
15.
to blues before.
Before
So
that, I
sick.
hated screaming, and now I do scream myself.
Like
So.
all day long.
Yeah.
I'll say, don't worry, I was the same way. I hated screaming for the longest time. The only person I could actually stand doing any kind of unclean vocals up until I was about 22 years old was Chester Bennington. But then once I finally got an understanding of why people do it, why it's in there, then I started listening to, I got opened up to Holy Hell by Architects, that whole album. And then it's like, now I get it. Now I understand it and see where it goes going forward. But I also like the fact that you're saying it's like, you're trying to make your own style. You're making your own style of modern heavy music because it opens up so much more potential for what you guys could not only put in your music, but just try and really bring forward. Because whenever we think of metal, we think there's always going to be like that gatekeeping restriction of you have to play certain pieces, do certain things in order to qualify. But what we've seen over the past, I'll say the last 3 or 4 years, it's the bands that are trying to do something with heavy music in a completely different facet for their own liking, for what they want to do, are the ones that are absolutely dominating right now. And I'm thinking of bands like Spirit Box, Electric Callboy, Lorna Shore, Bad Omens, Sleep Token. Those 5 bands have absolutely gone gangbusters in terms of size, popularity, everything. But it's because they've gone and done their own thing with what they like, with their own style of music. Because I don't see anyone doing deathcore as cinematic as Lorna Shore. I don't see anyone doing as crazy as Sleep Token in terms of all the mixture. No one's having more fun up there maybe with some of the music than Electric Callboy, but it's all working in a completely different facet. And people are drawn to it because it's unique, it's original, and it's something that is not following along with all the consistencies of it has to follow along with metal and all these different aspects. Because if it was, we'd be back to where we were, 10 years ago, where everyone was saying rock is dead, metal is dead. And the only bands we're seeing come up again are bands that are basically retreads of all the bands from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's also a point that you can really tell if a band really loves what they're doing or they're just doing it for the sake of it. And I really think, for example, as you said, like Sleep Token or Electric Callboy. Okay, we love Sleep Token.
Yeah,
we love
like top notch.
Yeah, wow. And I think that's really because how do I don't know how to say it, but it's like you can really feel that they're putting their heart into the music, and it's not just doing because I want to play in a band. I want to play in front of a lot of people, and yeah.
They're giving everything, like in also every instrument you can hear like the emotion, and it's so crazy. Like Sleep Token is like unbelievably good. I would say that. Yeah. So talented, man. It's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. But when it comes to your guys' sound, when it comes to Freaks of the whole entire album, I don't think there's a better song, in my opinion, that amplifies more of that for you guys, where it comes from a genuine place of you guys wanting to do this, wanting to create your own sound, and really trying to show what you guys want to do with everything, than the song Overdose. I thought that was the one where there is so much going on in that song from part to part, but it is one hell of a ride to go on. But if it wasn't for that one song, this album would still be great, don't get me wrong. But it's that one kind of has that overall, just like, it's the symbol for me of AVRALIZE, where this shows you guys can go in any direction you want. It's because you want to go in that direction, and you understand, again, overall song design, song structure, composition. This song has every bit of it.
That's so sick to hear, because we were so insecure.
Yeah.
When we released Overdose, we were like, okay, will the people like it, or be like, okay, what the fuck is that?
Our guitarist Philip was like, oh, let's release Overdose as the last track, like that the people don't get thrown off or stuff like that. Yeah, we were very, very insecure, but now I would say it's one of the the songs that the people like the best. So
yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
We were not expecting that.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, because usually we have like this very dancey, very energetic vibe, and with Overdose we try to embrace the other side of like music, and overall also like ambience and stuff.
Yeah. Also, we did something that we never did before. We stayed for almost half a minute on the same root note.
Yeah.
And our producer was like, "Yeah, that's good."
And we were like, "Okay, really? Okay."
And because when we're writing demos, we're like, "Okay, this is getting boring. Let's do the next part. Let's do the next part." Or this chord progression is like too slow. Or yeah, and maybe that's the reason why we were kind of insecure. But overall, I also love Overdose.
Yeah,
I really love the song.
Yeah,
I can see where some of that insecurity comes through because, well, let's go to the first track on the album on the track list with Lotus. Lotus definitely has more of that energetic, but also more of that kind of dancing vibe to it, just given the overall sound. So being something more confident in a song like that for you guys at that moment in time makes sense. With Overdose, though, because you'd gone through so many different aspects of it, you went through the beginning of it and had a lot more of this ambience behind it with the guitar style, had a little bit more of this electronic bit of like, more modern 30 Seconds to Mars feeling. So I'm like, this is a little bit different. This is a lot different. But then as the song continues to build up, it continues to have a little bit more of this melancholic feel to it, just adding a little bit more of this interesting piece that I'm just like, okay, we're starting to dive deeper into this concept of Overdose. Then going to the bridge, you guys put this like 80s style shredding guitar solo in there, which I thought perfectly fit in with the middle sounds of the melancholic tone of the song, because it really just got this overall feeling of pain, escapism, and kind of splitting the two pieces to get between. And then after this guitar solo, this brutal hitting breakdown with low gutturals, manic uncleans going throughout it. It was something that got me going like crazy. But the point I looked at this was, it's going through all the different emotions and things that happen to someone when they overdose, not only them, but the people around them as well. But it's really something that is all out there and understanding from each spot, and each piece, each instrument has this different story to tell. And it's this different emotion to tell too. And you're going through all these different pieces throughout that. It was something that I could not believe was actually a thing. And I can see again why you were nervous to put this out, because it goes through so much, and because it's not like simple, complex. It's not simple. It's not just continuously going. It's going through all these different pieces. But because it does so congruently and in a pattern that you can recognize, oh my God, does it just work?
That's so sick to hear, man. It's also, we were also like, the song is really long because it's our longest song. And we wanted to try to write shorter songs, and we're like, okay, but as you said, I think you can cut it in like 3 or 4 pieces. Like at first it's really slow, vibey, and melancholic. Yeah. And then the first chorus hits and it's a little bit more energetic, and then the verse hits, the gent verse, and it's like, I think no one would expect this part when they start listening to the song.
This pattern is also just crazy.
So difficult to play, holy hell. But
it works. Yeah.
It works, but it's a lot of fun, but it took so long to learn.
God, good luck playing this thing live, because people are going to want to hear this thing. You're going to have some fun with this one. Maybe.
What's the fun thing? We played the release show from Defocus last weekend, and we wanted to play Overdose at first, and then we were like, oh, damn,
we have to practice
one
more.
day before we were like, let's wait a little bit more. Yeah, let's wait. But in 2 weeks we're gonna play it live.
At our release show.
Yeah,
at the Freaks release show. Yeah,
right.
You guys you boys better be practicing at this point. You don't want to have that same moment happen where you're just like, I gotta pull out of this one. We can't have this because we're not ready. No, this has got to be something that's got to be heard live. You guys got to do this one. Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's also our deepest breakdown on this album.
Yeah, we have to play it.
We have, yeah. We were like, at the beginning, the deeper, the better. Yeah.
Well, I'll say for this breakdown, the deeper the better for sure, because it contrasts perfectly with the guitar solo that's right before it. Like, you're not expecting that to happen, but now that I know what's happening, I want to be at that release show. Of course, I'm 5,000 miles away and an ocean away across from us, but it's somewhere I want to hear that guitar solo, really feel it, and then just know that I'm about to just unleash holy hell on someone in the pit, because this is about to happen, and it's going to be one of the most brutal breakdowns of the night of your concert going season when you go see AVRALIZE play live.
Yeah,
of course.
I'm really looking forward to playing this live.
Yeah. Me too.
I was like, I hope you guys are, because otherwise. Well, so we've talked about AVRALIZE, we talked about Overdose, we talked about Freaks, but I always like to ask this question just in a different capacity. It is going to be tough, though, because it is like picking one of your favorite children, but it's just something to get more fans like geared up for the release of the album. So out of the songs that have yet to be released, what song are you most excited for fans to hear?
There's only one more that will come. Yeah. And
that's Canvas. Canvas has like this very special thing about it.
It's the most unique one.
It's very crazy. And we're like very stoked on hearing the people's opinions on that.
We also played it live last weekend, and like it was a really dark room, and we don't had that much response from the crowd.
Yeah, we couldn't see the crowd so good. Yeah, and we were like, oh damn.
And it was feeling really weird playing the song.
It was feeling very weird, because sometimes it's like the songs really feel slower than usual. Like when you're on stage and doing this stuff, you're just feeling like it's just so slow. Okay, is the crowd responding right? And stuff like that. And
okay, let me say it like that. When Canvas drops, there are like two parts you will never expect. Like never. I don't want to spoil it, but
then I won't spoil it either, because there was definitely the big one that I know you guys been thinking of. When I heard that happen in the breakdown, I'm just like, I cannot believe you guys did this, but that was totally perfect for that moment right there. It was, oh God, I don't want to say more about it because I don't want to give it away, but I'm just like, oh, this was so
cool. We're glad you liked it, man.
Oh man, you really are.
We're like, oh damn, we're going to get canceled because of that, but
oh God, no. I've heard a couple of bands try and do something similar to that, and I mean, it's like I've seen him do it, and it's always fun to hear. But what you guys are able to do with that, just mixing it with the way you mix that breakdown overall alongside it, I haven't seen anything like that happen. And I wasn't thinking that it was gonna work out, but it worked out like a charm. It was the best part of the whole entire song. I could not believe that you guys put that in there. It still blows my mind that was even thought of.
Oh,
that's so nice, man.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah.
Oh damn.
Same part with Lotus. The outro from Lotus is like, it just happened. We didn't tend to do that.
Yeah, and our producer was like, let's get the Western sample back, and we did like the whistle,
cowboy whistling.
Yeah.
Severin used to play a lot of blues, and he just jammed over this breakdown.
At first we also had like a slide guitar solo in it, and it's just like a little bit turned down, but it's also there, and it's like so crazy experimenting with sounds. I think there's nothing more fun than that.
Yeah,
especially in such a genre. Like you have this whole heaviness, and to cut through it, you have to like bring a little spice to it. I would say.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
I think you guys not only brought a little spice to it, like throughout the whole entire thing, but you guys brought spice to it throughout the listening experience itself in a different capacity. Because listening through the first three songs, I'm like, okay, we're seeing AVRALIZE, we're seeing their overall style, we're seeing the spice really start to come through. Then we get to Stab by Stab, and that got heavier overall. That had a little bit more of this, like, it was even the shortest song on the record. So I'm like, okay, now we're starting to get something different. We're starting to see where AVRALIZE can really start to take their music and go into a much more expansive style and really see that going through and putting in different, influences in here and there is a different way. And it's just, it makes sense. And we can see you guys going so much further with your music overall. Then once Canvas came in, I'm like, this is a lot different than what I was expecting, but not going to spoil it. But that ending was so good that I'm thinking this is going to get even crazier. This is going to get even better. Alive has more of a genty feel. So I'm like, okay, we can see more of this progressive genty side start to come out. Of course, we already talked about Overdose and Freaks, but all this album showed me was you guys know how to experiment, not only what you want to do, but you guys are not afraid to even experiment off of that and continue to go further and still have it make cohesive sense throughout the whole entire song that you're working on. That is something you don't find every day, but you guys have it on every single one of these.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Then we achieved everything we wanted. That's insane.
If the listener feels like that, we're like stunned. Yeah.
I'll say, I mean, this album definitely probably achieved everything you wanted, but then the question is now after you achieve this, there's going to be something you want more. There's going to be more things you listen to throughout the next year or so that you're going to be like, I want to try and do something that's, has a piece of that in there and see what we can build off of that with ourselves. I want to try something off of this band, or I want to try some off of, adding some more blues into it, or even seeing if we can add some more hard style meets blues meets metalcore meets highly produced stuff. Like, who knows what could happen, but you guys have the ability to try this.
Yeah. We're actually writing the next album right now, and it's going to be much more crazy.
Yeah. I'm also like a really huge drum and bass fan. Maybe because I'm a drummer, and sometimes when we do a chorus, I just copy the vocals and chords and just turn it into a drum and bass song. And hopefully one day we'll release a song with a drum and bass part, because I really love it.
Yeah.
We also have the live intro to Higher as a drum and bass part.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
So sick. Yeah, it's just like has the dancey feel to it, and you can see the crowd like going crazy over the dancey beat. And just in the pauses throughout the set between the songs, it's just so nice to have like this dancey vibe, and everyone's feeling like so free and just relaxed, but also so hyped. It's crazy.
Yeah. You also mentioned Step by Step. I just remembered when we wrote this song, we had a mental breakdown because there was like one writing session. It was around 9 to 10 hours long, and we didn't wrote shit. It was like we got nothing
worked out.
Really nothing. And we were really sad and under time pressure because we needed more songs to play live.
We only had like 3 or 4 songs ready, and we had to play gigs. So.
And now it's one of our most liked songs.
Yeah,
that's really cool. It's so much fun to play live. Step by Step is probably besides Lotus maybe the most fun live.
Yeah, for the crowd for sure, because everyone's like getting crazy in the pit. It's like bloodbath.
I hate being in the pit.
Now you're making me sad and jealous with envy, because you're like, people are going crazy in the pit. I want to be there, man. Come on.
Maybe someday we'll make it to the USA, and then we'll see.
Or I've been saying this since I started this podcast. I'm like, man, I want to go back over to Europe, but then of course started saving money, and then that thing called the pandemic hit, and that kind of threw everything for a loop. But like, I still want to come over to Europe and do I still want to do a 3-week run throughout every single country, just seeing how many I can get to. But at the same time, I'm going to plan it all around. Okay, what band is playing here? What band is playing here? And I want to see a different show like every single night, because by the time I get done and go home, I'm going to be beaten up, battered, bruised, tired, but also the happiest person you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah. That's the best plan I ever heard. I also want to do that.
I mean, if I do that, I feel like I'm gonna end up spending like 4 or 5 days of that alone in Germany, just because of the amount of crazy bands that are there. And I'm like, you guys are playing here, I'm going here. Now I'm going up to Berlin, I'm going to Hamburg. Like, I'm going all over the place, just trying to see what I can find.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited for summer, playing festivals and having nice weather, because it's freaking cold over here.
Yeah. Damn,
Yep.
it just pisses me off every morning going outside. It's still dark and everything's like cold.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I want back in
Winter
bed.
sucks in Germany.
Hey,
Yeah.
don't be too mad. I mean, winter sucks over here. It wasn't that bad this year though. We only had 1 week where it was just straight negative temperatures throughout the whole entire thing and everything was frozen over. But today, I'm recording this. It's, probably in terms of Celsius, probably about 22, 23 degrees out there. Yeah, it's really wacky. I should have the windows open right now, but otherwise I'd hear birds chirping like crazy and people are driving motorcycles all up and down the street, and I don't want to start talking here.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Yeah. We also Too Hot is also really bad. We played last year or the year before that. We played in a show where the sun was right shining into the stage,
Oh,
and
damn.
like
I almost fainted. I was like, I didn't have
wa-
any air in my lungs, and I was like,
it was
one
so-
more song, and I would lay there.
It was like 1 p.m. and my sticks were I couldn't hold on to my sticks at the second song. They were also all the time. I would yeah, and I also like sing the second voice live, and I was close to collapse. It was way too hot. It was
I couldn't open my eyes because all the sweat. And I was
Yeah,
like,
oh,
damn,
no.
It was just like so aching so bad, man.
That's the one thing I'm not looking forward.
Yeah.
So when you're headbanging and your hairs are wet, you can't see shit.
Yeah.
It does hurt so bad.
Oh, I'm well aware that whenever I go to shows, I always wear a hat, so it's like, okay, my hair does stay out of my eyes, but I've been to some shows where it's just like, I'll be in the pit, okay, 2 songs in, I'm already soaked at that point. It's just like, how in the hell are we going to get through this one? How the hell is the band going to be able to play up on stage when it's this hot? It still doesn't make any sense to me at times, but then, you just go and do it, and then you have a great story to tell afterwards. But maybe, okay, 2 things. If you guys would be playing in that bright and in that hot of a environment, one, Sever, maybe bring sunglasses so you don't have to like squint your eyes the whole entire time. Get like some M Shadows look going on. But Bastian, maybe get some gloves too so that your sticks can actually like grip in and you're not like potentially throwing, pine wood all over the stage. Yeah, duct tape them.
Yeah.
When a stick breaks, then I'm fucked. Like a broken stick. Shit.
So, well, how about this? We'll do gloves, but if it's that last stick, then we're gonna do duct tape because if it breaks, then
Yeah, never mind. I just stopped playing.
Or just go, or do what they do, or do it like the drummer in Def Leppard and just play with one arm and just see if you can do it.
Yeah, or just use my fist and just. Why not? I'm really afraid of the day where a bass drum head will tear apart live. I'm really afraid of that day.
Yeah.
It will definitely happen one day.
It'll happen. Then all of a sudden you just gotta have, just go up, have someone have someone that you also trust, have a mic and just start going.
Like beatboxing the whole set.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Honestly, if something like that were to happen and you guys were able to pull that off, the amount of publications like Metal Sucks, Metal Hammer, Loudwire, Drag, they would pick up on that in a heartbeat. I swear you would go viral for that.
Holy shit. Let's do this, yeah.
Or we're going to plan to have a whole bass drum head just shatter, just completely rip apart on us, and we're going to have someone start beatboxing the whole entire bass drum part of it.
Yeah, but then acting like it was not on purpose. Like, oh shit.
Oh damn.
Oh darn, what were we supposed to do? This was unexpected. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, maybe that'll happen, I'll say not this year, but maybe next year if you guys are able to come play festivals over here in the United States, just have something wacky happen and get the crowd into a frenzy. And then before you know it, there's going to be the story about how AVRALIZE played their first U.S. show, U.S. festival. The whole entire bass drum exploded and they still finished the show.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That would be a great headline. Yeah.
Metal as fuck.
Bass drum explodes, band still finishes show.
Yeah, that's
bass drum explodes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Man, now just even thinking about that too, I'm even more disappointed that I can't come and see you guys play live like this year because now I'm just even more excited. Like, I want to see something like this happen, but at the same time, if it doesn't, I still want to be in the pit for all these songs and just see how manic and crazy everyone gets and how manic and crazy I get to get and just enjoy life.
Oh man, that's so cool to hear. One day, I promise you,
we'll make it over there, and then it's going to get crazy.
Yeah. You'll say you guys promise you come over here. I promise I make it back over there, and we just both, you can
stay at our place. So
that's the deal.
Yeah, I'll take that deal.
Yeah, let's do this.
I'll take that deal, and then you're gonna like the deal I make with you guys at the end of this. But I got one more question for you guys, and I hope you're ready for it. You guys ready?
Oh
yeah.
So I asked this question to Focus, like I said in the intro, and they mentioned you guys, but now it's your turn. So between the two of you, can you guys name me 3 bands or artists that you would love to get more people into and more exposure into?
Holy hit.
Defocus. Of course. They're like so great. We were playing the album release show with them, and they're like
such nice people.
Yeah.
Great
and also
show.
the music speaks for itself. It's just so nice. And also live, they were like so tight, and the show was so energetic, and it was like everyone was going crazy. And it was such a great show.
It was insane.
Yeah.
I'd say Ashen. Do you know Ashen, the band? It's a metalcore brand from France.
Yeah.
No, I don't actually.
That we saw them live twice, and it was like, holy,
they're so fucking crazy. Yeah.
Because they're not small, but they could be like easy novelist or resolve level.
Yeah.
In popularity, definitely. Yeah. Third band. That's a good question.
I have to think about it.
Two.
I would say also the Butcher Sisters. That's a German band. Like, I would say they're a little bit like Electric Callboy, but with German lyrics, and they're so funny. And also Bastian is doing some session gigs with them. He was playing the whole tour in January, and it's such a nice band, but they're on the rise right now. So I would say they're like getting big now. Yeah.
But the lyrics are German, so
and the lyrics are like
silly, really
so silly,
but cool silly. It's like not dumb.
It's like cool. I'll say cool silly, like Electric Callboy, right?
Yeah, but it's more like in this
gangster style,
gangster rap.
But fun,
but so funny.
But it's really just funny gangster rap.
Yeah.
But mixed with metal.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, I'm gonna have to go check that out now for sure. Because of course, if I'm gonna listen to it, and it's in full German. I'm gonna need a translation for it to really get an understanding of where it's going. But I'm not gonna even start out with the translation. I want to hear what the music is like and just hear how crazy these lyrics can possibly get, because you never know. Maybe it's even better without the translation. And before I even know what it's like. Give it a chance. Come on.
They're so fun, man.
You will definitely like it.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys for the suggestions. And as we bring this episode to a conclusion, one thing I always like to do is give my guests, which is both of you guys, a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, promote whatever you're going to promote at the end of the episode. So, guys, the floor is yours.
Check out the album when it comes out at the 22nd of March. Yeah. And it was a very nice interview. Thank you so much, man. It was very fun because like the last interview we did, we were like so nervous, and it was like, oh damn, we talked so much much weird stuff, and but this interview really flowed, and thank you so much, man.
It was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you guys. I'm taking that to heart, and I'm calling that a win for the day. So now it's time for this podcast with 3 specific things. First things first, AVRALIZE. The brand new album Freaks comes out on March 22nd. So if you want to get in with AVRALIZE, which I suggest you do when it comes to knowing when they're going to be playing live, knowing when more new music drops, getting ready for this brand new album, listening to what they have out now, and just becoming a super fan of the band, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to the description of the podcast where it says find AVRALIZE online. There'll be links and labels for everything from social media, YouTube, streaming, where you can get some merch, where you can get concert tickets, all that kind of stuff. Literally, I'm going to be your own personal Google. You don't have to look up AVRALIZE on Google. You just have to go to the description of the podcast. All of it's there. Click on your favorite link and follow along with this band, stream their stuff, and check out Freaks, the full thing, when it comes out on March 22nd. I'm telling you this right now, so do it. Now it is time for number 2. Guys, you guys said if I come over to Germany and I see you guys play live, I'll have a place to stay. Well, whatever gets in the podcast, I enjoy the podcast. I tend to make a certain promise, and you guys absolutely hit on this. So this is my promise to you. It is not an if. If implies that it might not happen, so that's not a promise. I say when. When implies this is gonna happen. We just don't have a day or time set yet. So when I get to see you perform live for the first time, I'm gonna go all Liam Neeson from Taken on you, and I'm gonna look for you. I will pursue you. I will find you. I will say hi, and first round's on me.
Oh, all right.
I take you.
Yes!
That's the first thing.
Let's do this.
So you're just gonna be like, who's that creepy guy that's like, oh God, he's like, he's coming for us. He's gonna take us like Liam Neeson. Hi, guys.
Hiding from me.
It's Kevin. First round's on me.
Yeah!
And if it's over in the US too, where I see you guys play first, if I know exactly where you're playing, I know the venue, it might not just be one round, it might be a whole case of beer.
Holy shit. I don't know if you can handle that.
Well, that's why you save some for later then.
Let's find out.
We'll find out. Only one way to find out, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and now it's time for number 3. As we bring this episode to its conclusion, I cannot end this by saying goodbye because, guys, this was a hell of a lot of fun. I definitely want to make sure you guys come back on the podcast again in the future. I want to continue to keep tabs on you guys, make sure I continue to help you grow any way I can. I also made a promise to you to make sure I see you play live. First round's on me or first cases on me, whichever we decide on. But I can end this by saying goodbye. That's too final. So, guys, I'll see you later.
Yeah. See you later, man.
Well, folks, that was my interview with Severin and Bastian from the band AVRALIZE, and now it's time for Kevin's final thought. When it comes to the experimentation that these guys are able to pull off, it is absolutely incredible. I cannot believe how they absolutely pulled this off. There is so much going on in a lot of these songs, from the faster-paced, dancing kind of metalcore, deathcore style they put in there, the singing, screaming style in the chorus that is continuously throughout there, some of the cleans that are a little bit more melancholic and breathy, to some of these heavier uncleans, some gutturals even in there as well, and the overall flow of ideas is something that you don't see consistently done well in metal or even music in general, because when you're experimenting so much, there is so much that can go wrong. How these guys were able to experiment so much and have everything come through together so well, I'm still beyond belief. Listen to Overdose. Overdose has probably the best overall feel in terms of what this band can do from the light side of things to the heavy side of things, and how all this experimentation comes through and through. The production on this album is fantastic to continue on this cohesion in terms of how these songs progress and how the story of these songs end up flowing together. But definitely go and check out Canvas when it drops. And wait for the end. Wait for the end, because that breakdown has something in there that is over the top, incredibly well done. I can't even fathom how they did it. It's something I've seen before, but not to this level. When it comes to AVRALIZE and when it comes to listening to Freaks, go to the podcast where it says find AVRALIZE online. You can find anything you need on them in terms of social media, where to stream the album, where to, buy merch from them, where to get concert tickets, where to follow along with them is all down there. So go and do it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Chord Progression Podcast right down here on YouTube. Also, hit follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure you like this video and like the episode as well to help push us in the algorithm. Thank you very much, everybody. Go check out AVRALIZE. You're not going to be disappointed. Thank you guys once again. And on that note, that's going to be for me, guys. Thank you for watching, listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how every single one's big, healthy, and hearty. See ya! Yeah.